In this story, the living earth has been imperiled and our creative nature is rising up. And in this story, we are traveling together. We are Earthlings in training on a mission to remember ourselves in and restore our radical belonging. My name is Elizabeth Russell, and I am your guide through this story of now, and we tell it through the lens of the Dream Fruit Lunar Tales for Earthlings. And we are right now entering the eighth lunation of 2025, which begins on July 24th and goes through August 21st with a full moon on August 9th. So this is a Leo new moon and an Aquarius full moon. And we have a story that is really tapping into our empowerment. And the image that we're working with is a woman getting her hair bobbed. And I want to talk a little bit about this because hair is an incredibly powerful symbol. It is a symbol of personal choice. It's a symbol of beauty or strength or autonomy. And we have throughout history, and certainly in the past 100 years or so, we have really seen women who have claimed tremendous amounts of power based on what they do with their hair. I'm a Gen Xer. Let's just remember Annie Lennox, Sinead O'Connor, Ani DeFranco, even Demi Moore. But this moment when women were shaving their heads, and this was in the, the 90s when this was happening. And it was really a claiming of power. And of course, in the 20s, we know that the flappers were busily bobbing their hair, and it was absolutely a declaration of freedom and liberation from societal norms of beauty and femininity and freedom. Again, freedom, freedom, freedom is the theme of this month. And the other point in history that we can point to that definitely is about the power of women's hair, it's amazing to see, is the story of Mahsa Amini in Iran. This is something that is in our recent memory. This is a young woman who died in custody of the morality police in Iran for not covering her hair appropriately, which really sparked a massive uprising in Iran of women, young women, especially cutting their hair, declaring woman life freedom. We know that there is power in this image. And so as we step into this lunar cycle, and as we live into it, we want to look for what in our lives, what in the world is showing us how it is that we reclaim our agency. What is the daring act, the initiatory act or gesture that is visible to others that helps us recognize that there is something rising up through us into culture, into the world. And I am recording this after, has it been after a week or longer of hearing story upon story upon story of women who, as girls, were trafficked by billionaires and by the now deceased Jeffrey Epstein. And of course, we've been dealing with all of the, political splits and dialogue and all of that. But I really feel like the opportunity inside of this moment, and certainly with this lunar cycle, is for women to hear one another and for the world to hear women and to see women and to understand that our stories are not unique to us, that we share something quite common. And that is that we live inside of a story that is killing everything. It doesn't work. It certainly doesn't work for women and girls. It doesn't actually work for any life on earth. It doesn't work for men. Patriarchy kind of sucks. So, with that little preamble, let's consider what we're actually doing when we tell the story of dream fruit. Again, dream fruit is a world. It is a world of Lunarpunk where the animals are talking to us and the trees are our friends and allies, where we remember ourselves in deep belongingness with our kin, with our more than human kin. We are busily remembering and restitching moon by moon our bond with the living earth. And this is 100% as an antidote to the forgetting, the kind of spell that we're all under that tells us that we are separate from each other, separate from the living earth, separate from our own embodied experience. It's a trance, and slowly, 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 it is breaking up, and our true, clear story of connection and belonging is starting to seep through. It's starting to kind of bubble up through the cracks. And I, for one, am here for it. I find this to be very hopeful, very invigorating. It's not an easy time, as we know, but it is a time of awakening to our true nature as Earthlings. So that's the story, the way that we tell the story. We tell the story through moon mind. We tell the story through weird images, and we are all in this story kind of traveling together. And there's not exactly an end point, and this is why we call it lunar punk or eco punk, hope punk. These are all genres that the story of Dream Fruit kind of weaves in and out of. And the basic tenets of this genre are: one, we travel together. There is no single hero that is about to rescue everything. There is a collective journey that we're all on. Two, we are not moving toward a single endpoint. I remember and will always remember the final scene of Star Wars, the very first one. And I was very young when it came out and I loved it, still do. And this is a perfect example of what we're not up to. There's this closing scene where all of our heroes are receiving their badges, their medals, their sashes of victory, and they stand for their group shot and Chewbacca roars, and it's this wonderful moment of victory. What we've learned since in the world of Star Wars is that that victory is a slow evolution, and that is actually something that we see inside of the world of Dream Fruit and inside of Hope Punk as a genre. So we're not traveling alone. There's not a single hero. And there's not like one beautiful finishing moment, a crowning achievement that one and done, and now we can all rest easy. And then the other layer is that we're using magic and animism, and we're really leaning into our interrelatedness with all life. So, with that in mind, let's kind of journey a little bit into a different frame of mind that allows the story of Dream Fruit to kind of enter through the side door. And we're going to just drop some images in that can guide us through this month, through this summertime in 2025 that is filled with possibility and intense, amazing, heartbreaking challenge. So, in the dream of the daring moon, we wander, we are parched in the wake and residue, picking up pieces from the shattered trance of estrangement. Two worlds have collided here at the crossing. We have been to the deep well of belonging, and yet all around us is the dry lure of business as usual. We long for rain, and we see that forward is the only choice. One by one, wolfling pups and fluttering wrens appear from behind interwoven branches. They pluck our bundles from our arms, and we rise unburdened. And are our loyalties made clear by the cries of the world? And do we know each other by our open hands? Yes. Make the sign for liberated kinship. Shake your head to free it. So We have been in this story just last month. We were in this theme of imperative, and it was this crashing, this collision between worlds that one being just this hyper individual, I alone can save, fix, change, rescue, whatever the thing is, control, dominate, I alone. We were kind of clashing between this worldview and the needs of the collective, the needs of the many. And there was this enormous collision in the story of Dreamfruit in this prior lunation. What an awakening time. What a time of realization. What a time when like the cracks started showing in the story of now, and we could see like, oh, this story of the hyper individual can only get us so far. So now we are in this time of daring, this time when we wander, we are parched in the wake of the residue of this collision, and we're picking up pieces from the shattered trance of estrangement. And yeah, two worlds have collided at the crossing, and we've been to the in this story, and I encourage you to go back through the Dreamfruit story if you're just now arriving inside this world. Go back and kind of dip in and out of the different Lunar Tales for 2025, and you'll see that a lot of these images kind of stay in play throughout the year. At one point in this cycle of Lunar Tales, we were at this deep oasis, this place where the waters of the world could replenish us. And so, yeah, we've been to the deep well of belonging, and yet all around us is this dry lure of business as usual. In our heart of hearts, we know something different is possible. And yet, all around us, it appears that there are no choices. And this is why when a woman bobs her hair in 1926, or when a woman shaves her head in 1993, we are exposing something behind the veil of business as usual. We are creating a visible reminder that we have agency, even when it appears that we do not, even when it seems that we are trapped inside a setting of normal that is quite destructive. So, yes, we do long for rain inside this dry lure of business as usual. We long for rain, and we know we cannot go back. Forward is the only choice. And it is in this moment that something quite beautiful happens in the tale. And that is one by one, wolfling pups and fluttering wrens step out and appear from behind these interwoven branches. Aha, we are not alone. Aha, this is not only a human story. This is a story of life, seeking life, life wanting to live, life reaching toward itself to support and feed and help itself. And these beings, these creatures, they pluck our bundles from our hands and we rise unburdened. Something, we give up something as we kind of begin to make this new gesture of possibility. We give up certainly the illusion that it's only us. Are our loyalties made clear by the cries of the world? And do we know each other by our open hands? Those of us who have let our burden be shared, those of us who remember that we are not traveling alone, but we are traveling together. Yes, we rise unburdened and we make the sign for liberated kinship. Shake your head to free it. So, yeah, there are some trends that actually point to liberation rather than to conformity. What are those trends for you? What do you see in your life, in your world, and on your screen? What are you hearing that is a repeated trend or seeing that inspires you, that actually feels like it can break the spell of business as usual? It's a time to declare your personal agency and kind of stand your ground in the face of the messages. Like when we declare something new, there's always going to be the change back messages. No, no, no change. I need everything to stay the same. in order to be comfortable, and on like that. We all have that in ourselves, but if and as we change, we notice that other people that we have it around ourselves as well. And so it's this opportunity to really and truly just make this sign of liberated kinship, to stand our ground when those change back messages come. And to just really get that, like, there's a personal stash of earth energy alive inside of you, and it wants to express through you. You want to take your place in this growing movement of Earthlings awakening. This, of course, is a lunar tale, but it is not divorced from the context of now. We want to be vigilant in calling out trickery. We want to remember that the forests, the oceans, the sky, and even, yes, deep space, near space, our beautiful moon, the deep cosmos, all of these entities are part of our earthling birthright, our collective inheritance. And this is a time we want to make offerings to the memory of Mahsa Amini, to the memory of others who have risked their own safety for the sake of future freedoms, for the sake of integrity. We honor those who have come before us and those who share this moment with us, so that we can all stand together with our ancestors at our back, mighty beloveds, strengthening us, rooting us, and taking this, whatever it is, a delightful initiatory mark. So that is the prompt for this month. The journal prompt is, what initiatory task would most delight you? And if you would like to follow along more, of course, you can get this year's Lunar Tales for Earthlings. It's on sale. We're halfway through the year, so please get your copy. I've got a few left, and I'd be happy to get one into your hands. And you can see Beth Lorio's incredible art. Here's our woman getting her hair bobbed for the 8th lunar cycle of 2025. Again, this is the Sabian symbol for the 3rd degree of Leo. That is where this imagery is coming from. And just a little tour through the Lunar Tales is you get the art and the information, the lunar dates, and the dream. The journal prompt is here for you, some interpretive text. Obviously, this is my copy. It's all beat up already, but little journaling space to kind of work with through the month. And then you can proceed to the following one. And in the back, we have additional little art cards that you can pull out to use as you will, moon by moon. And one of the ways you can use that is inside the journal magic for Earthlings, which has space in it for you to place the card for the month and begin your own lunar journey. Journal Magic for Earthlings is a wonderful guided moon journal, and it goes beautifully, plays along with Lunar Tales, and I'd be happy to provide either of those to you. They're available on my website. With or without those journals, though, and the Dream Fruit books, I am just so happy to be sharing this journey with you. Since we're at this midpoint of the year, we have just passed it, we're a month into the summer. This is a wonderful time to look back over the past tales of 2025 and see what images from this year so far have been really active for you, what themes are alive for you as you kind of watch how the year has been unfolding in your own life and in the world around us. So you'll see that the story continues. We've actually been building and accumulating benefit that can help us in challenging times, especially right now. The summer is pretty intense, and we can expect really through the end of the year for things to be challenging. Yes, as I mentioned at the beginning, our living earth has been imperiled, and our creative nature is rising up. We are on a mission to remember ourselves as earthlings, to retrain ourselves as beings woven deeply into the fabric of life. I look forward to sharing the next episode of our thrilling adventure. You can look forward to that on August 22nd, which will be our new moon in Virgo. And we actually have two new moons in Virgo this year, one on August 22nd, and then the next lunation will be September 21st. And so we're really going to get a nice treatment of Virgo here coming soon. And in the meantime, I wish you well on the journey. May it go well for you and may it go well for us all. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me.